welcome Mr. Arnold Arivaho, and I would also like to recognize the presence of Mr. Gaba Sachs and also Linda. You're so welcome, and I really want to thank you for coming in early. Maybe we can unmute and have an interaction. I could start with you, Linda. Linda, you are an early bird today. I'll unmute, and I want to know, how are you doing? How are you doing? How is your Friday
Doing well,
afternoon?
thank
And
you.
you're doing okay. Social
Yeah,
media. I'm glad that you're doing fine. And what's your feeling about the topic today?
I'm excited. I want to be guided.
Excited. Why? What is driving that excitement? Okay, what? Okay, maybe the best way maybe to put this could be, what is the mixed feeling you may have today? What's the good and bad? You well know what I think you have your own opinion about today's topic. What? Let me
I'm
know that.
looking forward to knowing how social media is driving me away from being productive and how to deal with it.
Yeah, actually, that is concern, because the way it has affected face-to-face, should I say, interaction. We cannot avoid how social media has become an integral part of our daily lives, especially young people. The adaptation rate for young people in terms of technology is impressive. It offers a range of benefits as well as drawbacks that can significantly impact lives. There are so many. We well know that humanity, we make inventions and adopt them far before we understand their deep consequences on how we live our lives. And we have, unlike the Chinese, African countries and the African market for digital and big tech companies have been absorbing most of these technologies without putting them into their cultural context. Today, there are so many ways we can drive. There are so many areas or directions we can drive this conversation. There is no particular expert on this, because with the way technology is fast paced, with the way we started from Facebook. I remember opening my Facebook account when I was 14. And right now, we have seen a very big transition, that we have over six very active big tech companies dealing in social media. And there are so many angles. We can go big tech. We can also go into behavior, how this has affected how we behave. And when maybe I hope to learn today of how much of it is not even much of our choice. Social media use often involves consuming highly curated and filtered content, maybe from other people's lives. And this creates feelings of inadequacy. Most of the people call it FOMO, the fear of missing out. This can be very damaging for young people, especially those who are still developing their esteem, those who are still developing their sense of identity. And
Mhm.
if you talk about the,
Excuse me, Eric, your voice is really low. I do not know if it is just me or everyone is getting the same challenge.
okay, let me try and okay, hello. Why? How is it now?
It's still very low on my end.
Okay. So, John, I'm going to request you to give a little bit of your introduction, for an introduction about yourself, and you can also give us an icebreaker on your feelings about this topic today. Maybe as I fix this technical issue on my end.
Thank you very much, Eric. Good afternoon, everyone. I am glad to be here. My name is Muhumza Bijon, and I am currently working as a junior associate with the Challenges Group Uganda. I'm a graduate from Uganda Matters University. So basically, that is me. Today, I am going to be among the presenters on the topic about social media. Well, for me, I think I am going to focus more on the youth. I'm going to look at the effect of social media both in education and business because the youth is broad. My definition is going to base on the ages between 15 and 35. So we are looking at both people are still going to school and those already in the field of work. That is why I am going to discuss on both ends of business and education. I am also going to talk about cyberbullying and hate speech on the internet. I am also going to look also at the positive effects of social media to the youth today. So basically, that is where my discussion for today is going to rotate. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, John. Today's panel, we are having Mr. Muhumuza Bijon, who has actually just communicated. And thank you very much for actually giving in that. And we're also joined by Miss Petronella Nankunda Rangoga. Yes, and she's a content creator, and I'm very glad that she's with us on this panel. Miss Priscilla Atwine will be joining us just in a few minutes. She's quite engaged for now, but we shall be having her very soon. So I would like to have some feedback now. How is my, how am I clear now?
Slightly
Eric.
better from my end. I do not know about others.
Okay.
Yes,
All right,
Eric,
thank you.
you're very clear.
All right, thank you. So now for me, I come maybe to give a little bit icebreaker to the panelists. And I just talked about the social media and how we have undermined the ability of such technologies to limit face-to-face interaction that has created a society that has false sense of connections that do not necessarily translate to real life relationships. You may have 1,000 followers on social media, but even some of the few friends that I have made on such platforms, you find that the extent of meaningfulness, unless it is very narrow interaction based on something very specific, yeah, it would never compare to the same way that in-person interactions can be. Now, as I'm maybe let's say thinking about such a consequence, at the back of our minds, we just should have what society are we going to turn up with? The reason why a discussion about the youth is very essential in the context of a state is that to understand the future of a family, you look at the behavior of the children. And right now, we need to look at what may be of most of the majority. And this is not a stereotypes that I'm going to accord to say I'm not generalizing. We're not generalizing here. But it is some to address some of the realities that are happening. However, now we have seen benefits in the business sense. Right now, I could say that it is because of social media that the music industry is still thriving. It is because of social media that the sport industry is still thriving. And the informal sector, people dealing in, should I say, food products, retailing, clothing and boutique, technology, most people will tell you that they choose the gadgets they buy on phone. A girl will choose the hair she makes based on an interaction on social media by seeing how other people are doing it and maybe how can I fit my own style in, or if I'm going to buy a new jacket. So these are some of the feelings that we have. However, we do not own some of these companies. I really want to open up these kinds of perspectives only to try to attempt what is to tap into what is in your mind, and maybe we can we can try to analyze. We see us accumulating stress just simply because of a social media website, because maybe you're handling, because WhatsApp is affecting your marriage, your friendship, based on what you post. Yeah, feelings of inequality, feelings of not being able to keep up to the standard. So I want to now bring on Petronilla. She's a content creator. I want to know, what is it you have for us? Normally, I accord at least 10 to 15 minutes per presentation. Then we can later on have an engagement from some of the community we are having today. So Petronilla, please come on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Katunji Eric. I'm very humbled that I was chosen to speak today. I've always been on this platform for long, but just there in Kamoli. But this time around, I was contacted and they're like, would you be interested to talk about social media? You're always on social media. Come and talk about social media. And I'm very delighted that I'm going to share my mind with like minds, with people who have tried to change the society for the better. Shout out to Humura Psychology, to Keza Psychology, who are trying to make sure that everyone in our community is in the right mental state. My name is Nankunda Petronilla Rwangoga. I'm the CEO of Nkunda Med. I'm a fashion designer and tailor. I hold a bachelor's degree in community-based rehabilitation. And I'm a decorator as well. Generally, I'm a businesswoman and a content creator, mostly on TikTok and Facebook, I guess, and soon to be YouTube. Most of the things we are going to tackle today, I've been there, I've seen them, I've seen people go through them, I've seen how social media has helped people, I've seen how social media has taken people down the drain. So Jenny, I'm going to be talking about things from experience mostly. I don't know if we were maybe sectioned to talk about different things, but I think I'll maybe go in order according to how we were supposed to talk about things, and maybe I'll add on here and there on what other speakers are going to say. But first, we need to know what social media is. To me, social media is a web-based platform that helps us share ideas, information, thoughts across communities. Like I can post something from here in Uganda and it will reach America in a minute. That's social media to me. And maybe there is video gaming. People don't know that video gaming is also social media. So anything to do with our phones, our computers, our tabs, our iPads, and the screens like video gaming and all, it is all social media. So today we are actually talking about the youth mainly. And to me, the youth are 35 and below. I don't know if they were talking about only teens and adolescents, but to me, I'm going to talk about youth from like 18 up to 35. So has social media helped, like benefited the youth? Mostly, like in the past studies, like in the past 10 years, most scholars used to say that social media is impacting the youth in negative ways, like mostly negative ways. But recently, like researchers have come up and people are like, I think it's overrated. Like the negative things are overrated, and we are forgetting the positive things social media is doing for the youth, for our youth. And I'd like to discuss some of the positive things social media has done for the youth, or how the youth have benefited from social media, mostly in school and business, I can say. There's a lot of access to information, especially the ones in school. There are learning materials on social media. There like when students are given courseworks and what, actually, if most of us have been students at campus before, And we used to do our courseworks mostly from Google and all those things that were on the internet. And we know how helpful it was to us and those who did research, and you know how social media helped us a lot. Then we access very many podcasts on social media. There are podcasts about literally anything on social media. There are so many things. There is news, like you're always updated if you're on social media. It keeps the youth informed, like you know what's going on. Since the newspapers are fading away, like the youth are always informed. Then on the business side, most of the youth gets access information on YouTube. Now, for example, me as a fashion designer, I remember I had the passion for fashion and design, but I did not have the money to pay for fashion school. And I had paid for like 2 weeks into fashion school. Like I was paying portions. I only studied like basics for 2 weeks. And I went on YouTube, and there were very many lovely Nigerian ladies ready to teach us for free. Every design you want, every technique you want, everything was there for me. And I benefited a lot. And I hope there are very many youth out there also benefiting the same way. Then there is a sense of belonging. Very many youth, like in this generation, have grown up in families where they are not loved, they are not heard, they are not understood. They're overshadowed by other things, the parents' work and all those sorts of things. But when they come to social media, they get a sense of belonging. They get a chance to hear from people to connect with people who have like minds with them, people who have the same interests. Most of the times when you open up an app and you're signing up, they ask you the things you're interested in and all. And when they're giving you the people you may know, like the people that may be your friends, they usually give them friends according to interests, the people you share interests with. Now, for example, me, if you open my Instagram, it will be fashion, 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 fashion. But I did not notify anyone that I'm doing fashion. But somehow they bring me that information. Then they get connected to their loved ones. You're at school and you can connect with your siblings at home. You can connect with your parents. You can connect with your relatives and know how they're doing. Your OGs and OBs in other schools, like know how far they are, how their campuses are doing, and all those things. Like gives you a sense of connection, like you're not lost away from the world of your loved ones. Then it gives the youth motivation. When you open these social media platforms, starting from TikTok to Twitter to Facebook, there are very many motivational speakers. And there are very many youth struggling with very many different things. Anxiety, they are struggling with low self-esteem, they have no confidence, and like everyone has a challenge they are going through. And they're usually these motivational speakers to take them out of that pit, like give them stories of how they overcame, of how they managed to beat a certain form of depression, and they're always there. So like access to this information, access to social media gives them a chance, to know that they are not alone and they can overcome certain circumstances. Then it is an outlet of self-expression. For this is mainly for people who are like young upcoming artists, painters, what else? Models. We've seen people be recruited from TikTok. She's just creating content on TikTok and a company recruits her as a model. So it is becoming a very good media for talent. Like the youth get a chance to promote their talent there, sell their talent there, get help from there. We've seen artists be taken on by producers and what do they call them? Those music houses that sign people. They've been taken on by people who are going to help them promote their talent. Then they can access services remotely. If we can remember very well, during COVID, when kids could not go to school, there was a media between lecturers and students, and somehow lectures could go on. We had kids seated at home and studying online, and the years that were covered without studying were literally covered on social media. and they managed to cover up the work which they did not cover up physically. Then, much as there are positive things social media has done for the youth, there are a lot of negative things that the youth have gotten from social media. Social media has impacted the youth I really don't know. Like here, it's very big, like to a larger extent, because the youth don't know how to use social media. They don't know how to regulate social media. They don't know to what extent they can use social media. So it has been of harm to them. It has decreased their time outdoors. And this is as a result of screen time. Like most of the time, the youth want to be on their screens. Either they are playing video games, or they are chatting with friends, or they are on Instagram liking and sharing and just viewing pictures, or they are like, there's a lot of information on social media that catches the eye of the youth. And this has
Yeah,
deprived them from the mental health benefits of nature. Yes, Mr. Katunji.
actually, you had, I wanted to inquire on that last statement you had just mentioned, on which deprives them from the mental health benefits of nature. Now, TikTok, Instagram, now, as somebody who deals in fashion, I think these tools are the most, these tools I think have been very, very good for the industry. You know, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, you know, it's a creative space, you know, to showcase, yeah? Is it your
Yes,
talent, your
it is.
interest?
Yeah.
Whether you want to
Yes, it is.
express yourself, yeah, and but also, what do you have to say about? I think that's why you are leading the anxiety, the depression. You find that it's what are some of the feelings you have towards this? And also, I've been on TikTok, and I regret having opened up a TikTok account using my old Facebook account. Now, I was about 16 when I opened up my Facebook. So you can imagine what I spent my time doing on Facebook at the age of 16. So that same algorithm, I used it for the TikTok account. And of course, it was now bringing for me, you know, I was searching more about girls and what, yeah. So you get to look at that demographic, and there is promotion of a negative body image. I've seen it cause self-esteem issues, particularly amongst young girls. It has also disrupted.
Mr. Katunji is coming to that. Actually,
Okay.
what you're talking about
Mm,
is the increased social media comparison among the youth.
mm.
Like these young teens and young adults tend to measure themselves against peers and celebrities, and they judge themselves by what they are seeing. So most of the times they are wanting and competing and on pressure to catch up with what they are seeing on social media. And this gives them that anxiety, and they end up being depressed. Like, then for the poor body image, you're seeing edited pictures every day on social media, and you are here with your pear-shaped body, and you're seeing everyone on social media seems to have an hourglass body, and then you're put on that pressure to get such a body. That's how you see young people hating themselves. Is that poor body image, hating themselves, and struggling to match up with what the society is showing them. You find a young person wearing jumpers and hiding their body because they think everybody is supposed to have a certain body type. They're supposed to look like models and all. You cut me short when I was telling you that the decreased time outdoors as a result of screen time deprives them of the mental health benefits of nature. There is a lot of calmness that comes with seeing water flow, with seeing mountains, seeing the Greenland, catching up with friends and all. And when you don't get that, there is a certain mental health disorder you get. There is something you're not getting. So this affects the youth in that kind of way. Then there is less physical activity. Less physical activity. Young people don't receive the psychological boost provided by exercise. They are actually, social media makes most of them very lazy, very lazy. Like if you've spent late night hours on social media, just stuck with your screen and staring at your screen and commenting and sharing and reacting to other people's things, most definitely you will sleep for longer hours. Meaning you cannot wake up to exercise. And when you wake up, what you're thinking of is your phone. You go to your phone immediately. Like there's a way you're not, your I don't know, your head, your brain is exercised as what, and you don't have time for that because you have time for only social media. Then it enables cyberbullying, which is very distressing. There are very many distressing things online in the daily social media, but mainly cyberbullying, which most of the youth cannot take, and it has led them to most of them to depression. Like you post a picture and people are bullying the way you're dressed, people are bullying the way you look, people are bullying you, the way you speak, the way you, and it takes a very, very, very mature mind to just let that pass. So most people take those things personal. And they end up getting that low self-esteem, and they're always anxious, thinking they cannot match up. And actually, for some, like the young youth, because I think there is the young youth and adult youth, idle, thinking they cannot match up. Then, but few, there are depressive symptoms that in the night sometimes to be on social media. And I find that they're my friends who literally never sleep. Up to now, I wonder, when do these people sleep? And of course, it affects their performance in their day-to-day life. Those are people you find dozing at she's seated in a shop and she's dozing. But you can't tell her to go off social media. Like the moment she wakes up and gets some energy, she's looking for her phone. There's really quite a lot. Or should I leave the rest for other speakers? I don't know. Can I also tackle some other sections, Mr. Katonji?
Well, I would just love to pick your mind a little bit more. What do you think about, because well, we can't, you well know we have a background of, we come from a background of psychology. So I look at, my interest looks at social re-engineering.
Mental health.
Yeah, social re-engineering. So like social re-engineering. Now, based on the work that you have done, and I can tell you're somebody also with a good level of emotional intelligence. When you look at maybe the people around the industry, your consumers having the wrong measures of validation, the validation that they give to themselves in society. What do you think about that? If you're a dreamer, if you've imagined an alternative, what would you have better that I can look beautiful in my own way? And as you know, as a fashionist, you know, if you, because even fashion has a very direct impact on how society behaves. Yeah. If I step out this door and I look at now as a guy, a lady in an animal tight animal print, then next the short skirt, then next tight jeans. Yeah. At the end of the day, we don't complain when you have a society where men are hugely distracted. Yeah. And when, because if a girl dresses in a certain way, and that's, many men are looking towards that and are preferring that, that is also its own form of consequence. So for you, what kind of thoughts have you had around this issue? That's what I'd like to know.
I think it should always start with you. You as a person, it should start as we youth who are not yet spoiled. It should start with us, the youth who are identifying the problems the society is facing. It should start with you as a person at home. What do I mean when I say it starts with you? If you're seeing something is wrong with the youth, refrain from it. How do you refrain from it? If you see it being posted somewhere or what, refrain from throwing comments of appreciation and laughing, and what you're seeing an 18-year-old dressed in a skimpy thing, and you're commenting and you're saying beautiful, maybe she's your sister, and you're like, we are proud of you, sis, and what. Refrain from such things. It starts from you. React when you see something that is wrong on social media. Do not keep quiet. React. Come in that very moment, throw a comment, throw a video, and explain to depth about what you've seen and how it's not right and the better things we can do. Then you can even challenge it. Show them the better way to do it. If you're, for example, I'm a fashion designer. Why, if I am against the youth wearing those skimpy things and maybe tempting men and all, why should I post a picture wearing the same? Let me tailor something modest and show them that you can dress modest and still look good. So my point here is it all starts with you. Have I understood, Mr. Katunji?
Yes, thank you very much for that. For now, we shall hold on to that. I want to bring in John. I don't know, you talked about cyberbullying. Is this a reality? What is the nature of cyberbullying? Because I've heard of hacked accounts, but I don't know, is it that extreme? Just, you had a piece you are sharing with us. So can you just come in, give us your mind, and then we see.
Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you once again. Now, thank you so much. I believe that is an area I personally had so much interest in. The idea of cyberbullying. Now, depending on who you ask, but some people would want to relate cyberbullying to online hate speech. They are more or less the same. Now, why they try to make them seem the same is because they both happen online, and that they take place with an intention or purpose of attacking a person, a group of people, that may be based on either race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, ability or disability, their gender, and sometimes this tends to encourage violence in most cases. Now, I want to tell you that cyberbullying is real. And the biggest challenge we have is that cyberbullying cannot be followed closely. Why? Among the issues that we are facing mostly is hidden identity. Like we have all said, you remember while we were studying in school, there would be those people would be very quiet, but once in a while they would throw a word, and in most cases you would not expect them to. I feel this is the same thing that happens when it comes to cyberbullying, that some people who are not able to express themselves verbally may have the authority to do this online. One, they will have a hidden identity, and then we shall keep having names that we cannot relate to, and then we do not know and can't trace such people. I am not saying it's only the quiet ones that are in position, but just that for the research that has been made, most of the people that have been found are people who were not easily could not easily be identified. Now, it also becomes a challenge because people want to closely relate cyberbullying to freedom of speech and expression. That because that is a cardinal rule that everyone is supposed to express themselves freely, they do not want to differentiate between what is extreme and what would be okay. Now, from the very beginning of this discussion, I wanted to define youth as people between the age of 15 and 35. Whereas that is a bracket, I want to bring my attention especially to those that are still in school. So I will most probably look at between the ages of 15 and 20. When we got the lockdown, the very first lockdown, and everyone was indoors and there was limited activity and parents had no control over their kids, we can both agree that parents have been known to be the worst people to look after their own kids. Now, they start buying these gadgets for the kids to keep them away because you're fighting for TV or they're asking for attention. So every parent thought, well, let me buy a phone, a tablet, an iPad for the kid. Maybe they will do homework, maybe they will keep busy. And that is where the biggest challenge has been. That after the parents were pushing the kids away, there has been very little control. that every time you look at your kid and you say hi and they're in the room, but you do not know what they are going through. Just like the person who spoke before me acknowledged what are some of the positive effects of social media, well, that would be every person's intention, that when you're going to go on social media, you're looking at all these positives. However, when you're exposed to this kind of hate speech, it is what is going to cause a very low morale amongst the kids, but it can also lead to acts of suicide. Now, imagine this kid who has seen a role model doing a TikTok video, and then he or she tries to do the same thing, but in a very terrible way. The moment you upload that, the feedback you'll get, you will never be able to recover from that. Similarly, let us look at someone who accidentally has that information leaked. Maybe you shared a message with someone on a personal basis, and before you know it, it is out there. And every single morning you wake up, it is rubbed in front of your face. Now, the challenge is that there has been a very big gap between the children and their parents. That TikTok and Twitter and Instagram have come in a time that our parents mostly do not understand how this works. So your child has not maybe given you the account details, you do not even know what is happening. And you're seeing them change, but you cannot tell what is actually happening to them. Now, before you know it, the kid you knew is one you do not know. And I want to say that it is very hard to bring back a mind that is starting to go wrong. We do not very much appreciate the role of psychology or counseling in the African tradition, especially for the men. You're told to be strong, you're told those things are for whites, you're told not to talk to anyone, so you keep pressing everything from within. And before you know it, you are no longer the person you used to be. This is going to affect your relations with people, it is going to affect your performance, it is going to demoralize your esteem, it is going to affect your health, it is going to affect your entire thinking. Now, I want to acknowledge that we had gotten a Computer Misuse Act, although now it is not in effort. I would have thought that that could have helped if the intention was real. I am not sure what the real, because the country where I'm coming from, we have very good laws, but when it comes to interpretation, it becomes a very big problem. Perhaps this would have helped. Now, I want to not come here and cry without creating a solution. The best way I would feel that would handle cyberbullying would be to encourage parents to again take control of their kids. Can we monitor what our children are doing? Can we be more than just parents but friends to these children of ours? Can we talk to them? If we feel they're beginning to act strange, can we get, because normally there's that close person they're really open with. It could be an aunt, it could be a friend. We need to talk to them and understand what is really happening and find a way of helping. But I also feel that there is no harm that we should wake up as Africans, and we also know that counseling, guidance, whatever that may be, is important for everyone, especially for these kids who have been mostly affected by the lockdown. I'm not saying parents or those that are working cannot go for the same. They may have the same issues, but I would believe that they should be in better position to handle some of these issues more than our school-going children. Now, I would also strongly believe that we need to start having discussion with children before they get misinformation from everywhere, from elsewhere. That it would be good that, because we are now in an era of internet and we are not going back. So I feel that parents should begin having these discussions with the kids as early as possible. Can we talk to them and we tell them, look here, as much as I'm giving you this gadget, we are having issues, say A, B, C, D, E. Can they know what cyberbullying is? Can they know how they can react in case they are faced with that situation? Can they know how to use social media? Can we give them hours? Can we use the protective measures that are there, that maybe they do not have access to certain content, they need to have age appropriate content? Can we really try to talk to them? Because now we are shifting from a point where parents would beat and things of the sort. I think we really now we need to start having dialogue as parents, as guardians, as older siblings. with these children? Can we have discussions to have one-on-one? In that, even when they face challenges while they are on social media, which we are not going to do without, that we should be able to address these issues when they speak to us freely and find solutions on how they are going to tackle some of these issues. Now, as far as government is concerned, I do not think they have so much, and neither do the social media companies have, because it is also hard for them to differentiate. I believe this is a battle that we need to start fighting individually. This is something we can begin preventing. Let us introduce the kids to some of these sites in a gradual process, but also maintain the best relationship possible. Now, I would feel there might be questions at this point or supplements. I beg that I end here, and in case there's any issue that needs me to be addressed, now would be the time. Thank you so much.
All right, John, you raised an issue in parenting, and I used to, I still do hold a huge degree of accountability to the parents. But now when I understand the business model of most of these companies, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, is that these companies have created algorithms that create addictive behaviors in their users. They are hugely designed to keep users engaged and active. And what do you give them? By giving them your biodata, the date you're born, they're able to predict that. And even when I am on a business venture, the consumption will be driven. That even when you boost, still consumption is driven based on an individual's algorithm and how that algorithm is designed to reach you. So these are some of now the complex issues of how are we going to continuously burden parents with the constant changes that are happening because a big tech company that is not even here on the continent, somewhere in the United States or Europe, is influencing our social behavior. Also, the concerns of okay, I don't want to go a little bit political because none of that has also come in. None of that has come in currently. That's not the trend, but that's what I'm really trying to realize. So I'm going to make a little bit displays. Meanwhile, I would like to welcome those who have joined us meanwhile to the Uganda Youth Dialogues from Keza Psychology Center. My name is Eric, and we are a psychology company, but we leverage data into how to impact the lives of individuals through our platform, Humura Therapy. There is, we offer psychosocial support. Please visit Humura Therapy for those who have seen the website. I think part of our technical team is going to post it. And we also offer support to communities and companies by leveraging what we understand about their people to overcome their challenges. And here we say we are taking psychology outside the gate, not only in the hands of the technical experts, of the academics in the field, but I'm in the world of finance. We have people in tech, journalists. Now we have somebody like, now it's not surprising that you find somebody in business like Petronilla has a very good understanding of how society behaves. So to interconnect that, and I'd like to really welcome each one and every one of you for that. I would have raised maybe now in our break. There is still one panelist who has been delayed. That's Priscilla. I don't know. At any moment she joins us, I'll be able to link her up. But for the moment, welcome Gladys and Anula. And that's one of our professionals, our people in the world of psychology that we can always engage. So Priscilla Atwine, I would like to welcome you.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I'm still in traffic jam.
Okay.
I don't know whether you can give me like 15 minutes. Will you have finished?
15 minutes are fine. Right now, yeah, 15 minutes are fine. You will let me know when you're okay. You just simply unmute and you let me know.
Okay, please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. There was there's a few bit of contents where I didn't want us to go too much theoretical or academic in this topic. I just felt that it would be a little bit better if we kind of also explored on some of the content that we look at. Maybe I just felt, I don't know if we are able to view something yet. I'm trying to display something, I will come up with it. Okay, yeah, meanwhile, as I'm getting my connection ready, let me call upon Mr. Let me see, so one of our attendants. So let me call Mr. Gavasax. Can you, based on what Petronilla and John have presented, what are some of your thoughts?
Yes, I would like to thank you all. Thank you, our moderator, Eric, and everyone who is here. By names of Saksagava. I am a technologist. I appreciate what Mr. John has hinted on about the law that was revoked from Parliament, Computer Misuse Act, because I happen to belong one of the entities that is responsible for cyberspace, and that is the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance that is responsible for these policies. And it is quite unfortunate that content that goes to social media is not regulated, or if it is not really. There are no third parties apart from the users themselves and these companies, the social media companies. Well, thanks to Meta company, that is Facebook, Instagram, that tries to regulate their content. We know you cannot share content that violates privacy of some people, or that violates some copyrights. For example, the other day I tried to share content that is copyrighted, and Facebook had to warn me. I think this is a call to all the other companies that intend to deal in this business of bringing people together on the internet, to really take that into consideration. Well, social media, other people, you will agree with me that other people are really reaping big benefits on the social media. So I agree with all the current speakers. I think we are shooting in the same space, that it starts with us. What Petronella said, it's just like, I will give you an analogy of freedom. When you have too much freedom, it becomes really dangerous. So we have a lot of freedom, but the onus is on us really to guide ourselves. So and I want to thank Humura Psychological Services and what they're doing for the communities. a lot of our people don't appreciate psychology and everything, but I think we are on the move, and we need more platforms like this for sure. I'm enjoying the talk, and I'm taking notes. Maybe one way or the other we shall help each other and push this to the stakeholders, and maybe we can adopt some things, especially when we are formulating some strategies and some policies in the ministry. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you
Eric.
very much, Mr. Gabo. Yeah, thank you much, Ava. One time I was to engage you on how we can work, because you've said it. Many people are reading big, and they're not even on this continent. Yeah. How I wish now Petronilla would work on a tool, on a platform, let's say Snapchat, and also own shares, or has a cousin who owns shares in such a platform.
Yes, Eric. Let
Mm.
me just chip this one in. And currently, I'm in Seoul, South Korea, and a lot of people usually use these social media platforms to sell their items. But I will tell you that the major factor why why e-commerce is booming in these countries is really attributed to the discipline the people have. The government, of course, has done so little to regulate, but the people, the discipline that the people have, but also if we can leverage technology and use tools like there is the new AI tool called ChatGPT, which is a great content creator. I think we need to educate ourselves on how we can really best use social media to our advantage, and we are doing the right thing by educating the masses. And it is very key. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you to Warren.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, and thank you to the team that always organizes the dialogues for us to share our thoughts. And I'd like also to thank the speakers, the panelists that contributed. For me, my own opinion is we live in a world that is multicultural. These differences that we share in cultures, in values, you find that those that are living on the African continent might share to some degree certain values. They might share some thoughts on particular issues, and because of last week we were talking about colonialism and neo-colonialism, we've lived in a society where we have no appreciation of our own cultures before we incorporate several other people's cultures. And if you're not very careful, you find that that is detrimental to us. Because one, as a nation, we hold some values. Or as a people, we hold some values. Or we subscribe to a particular way of life. And these social media platforms, more often than not, will push their own cultures onto you. So when one of the presenters was talking about, say, things like dressing skimpily on social media and posting it and getting likes and what, you find that we have created a kind of culture where appreciation must be earned at whatever cost. Be it you selling yourself short, be it you prostituting yourself, be it embarrassing someone else, like we saw with that kid that was beaten half to death by people that thought she was having relations with someone that wasn't even married to the person to the perpetrators. It's anyone now. Recently, I posted something about how anyone with a smartphone and access to social media thinks they can change the world. I recently saw an ad, not an ad, rather, sorry. It was a video about, I think, margarine, one of the margarine brands, which should be Blue Band, and it has two different sets of two different types. One is, I think, low fat spread. The other is multi-purpose. So this person chose the low fat spread, and they were putting water in it, and it wasn't melting. So they made a video, and it was circulating. And then Unilever released a statement. When I first saw it on someone's status, I had wanted to comment that, did this person at all read the instructions on this can of Blue Band, or they just, when they saw that it wasn't melting, quickly their mind told them, post a video, shame them because they are faking you, they're doing this. And when the statement came out, I was like, they did exactly what I was thinking. So we have now a lot of misinformation out there because everyone thinks they can teach the world. Everyone thinks they can inspire the world. Everyone thinks they can do something good because they have a phone. Not necessarily even good. They just think that when you get a little bit of information, you don't have to look up the facts to back that truth, quickly post it. When you see someone being battered to death or being battered, embarrassed, get out your phone, record them, post. And I think that is very detrimental to, like we were saying, our mental health. Like Petronila, I don't know, is it Petronila or Petronila, was saying that these things need regulation. Anything good or anything that you find yourself being attached to more than you normally would in terms of enjoyment, be it social, be it physical, be it everything needs regulation. And I think that is what the social media platforms do not address, or the social media owners, the ones that push for the popularity of these social media platforms. The regulation. It's like any other addiction. If we do not control it, if we do not find ways of making sure that this particular issue is dealt with in terms of regulation, as a human being, whatever you find enjoyable, the first thought that should come to your mind is, how do I make sure I regulate it?
Warren, what is your opinion on dating apps?
One, in my personal view, we can talk about my personal view and then the objective view. My personal view is I'm not a fan of dating apps, not at all. I don't even know most. I think I've only heard of a few that I've seen in either videos or movies. I think, I don't know, Tinder, is that a dating app? That's the only one I've heard of, but I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. I understand the cultures. Like I told you, before you incorporate a culture, first have an appreciation of your own. Otherwise, you're going to crash.
So,
Otherwise, you're going to have issues.
What kind of dating app would you have? Or am I driving you to specific?
No, it's fine. I enjoy being driven to specificity. It's what I live for. I don't think, for me personally, I would subscribe to a dating app. One, because I think we've interacted on several occasions. I don't even believe in meeting someone and getting their phone number immediately. I believe if at all we're to have any sensible relationship, I ought to be in your circles too often before I can extend, an invitation, maybe to get your phone number or something. So for me to even subscribe to a dating app, you could be a cannibal for all I know. And that's just saying, that's just giving an example. But dating apps for me that's not something I subscribe to. I'm too traditional when it comes to relationships. When it comes to sexual relationships, I'm way too traditional. So I would not subscribe to such a thing. I believe in understanding someone, meeting someone physically, going on dates, learning this person as I go along. But you have to be within my circles. I don't have to
Now, but with the economy, because I was doing some preparation for today's show, and I really saw that how hard it is to reverse this big step that the big tech companies have made. Yeah, this is not going to go away, and and right now you see how transactional things have become. Mostly how, yeah, how most things are transactional. It's transactional. A guy has his own interest when I'm meeting somebody. So how do you imagine a way somebody innovates around that, and we have some sort of better alternative to how people are meeting, how they're socializing? I, for one, I don't know if I'm completely satisfied with my current, should I say, networks, to say that, okay, I would be open to meeting somebody online and see where it goes. Though statistically, they say that you meet somebody online, chances are it does not go far. However, there still has to be engineering, and we look at an opportunity if we go into owning our own data. And if one person here, I don't know if we have somebody in tech, was to innovate one. Yes, Petronilla, have I touched enough? Yes, Petronilla.
I'd like to talk about this dating app thing. I think it was also like one of the harms social media is doing to people. Like people have lost the quality, like there is no quality of conversation. They no longer have the ability to have meaningful conversations. Like people can no longer use their grammar. They don't have the confidence to speak. They can't read emotions. They can't use logic to think. They are just buried on their screen. That's why someone would go on a dating app to go and get a white man from Germany, because they do not have the confidence to move out, interact, get to know people, talk to people. So it's one of the harms social media is doing to, I think it's one of the harms social media is doing to the youth. Like, why not go there, go out there, hang with people, go to church, meet people, interact, talk to them? Why wait and go on Tinder, go on, I hear Afro introductions, and go to get strangers?
I think there's also that issue, and having what percentage would you attach to? Because I think a very huge percentage, that confidence, that person to person. Because if you look at even if you look at a generational comparison, uh, the generation maybe of the 80s and 70s in terms of personal networking, excellent, excellent. When it comes to the late 90s and 2000s, when it comes to managing interpersonal networks, we are a bit weak. We have other new strengths, but in terms of that original, yes, Warren. Yeah, I'd seen a hand up, so I would like. Okay, for me that's that's what I. Yes, Warren, you are
Yes, I
muted.
had wanted you to finish your point, but what you were talking about, the networking issue, I don't know how many of you have been in socializing spaces. Say maybe you go for a family gathering, or say as friends you say to meet up somewhere. Maybe in Bara you say we shall meet at Shooters or Dankoli place or where. And as soon as you get there, everyone pulls out their phone and is communicating with people that are not in that place. That is about 70–80% of the time. Usually for me, the question that comes to my head is, why did we meet up? If we are going to sit together and have conversations with people that are not in the same space, why did we all just stay home, maybe set up a Google Meet like we have right now, and talk about something if we want to talk about something? But you see, this is where our culture is being degraded. These white people that bring these social media platforms onto you, if you've lived or you've talked to people who are in those spaces, you'll find that someone lives on a block with someone for 10 years and they've never spoken in the same corridor. So to them, that's not an issue. When they are pushing such social media platforms on you, they don't put that into consideration because they do not have it to begin with. Here, the culture of meeting together, family gatherings, all these things, that is very important for our social sanity as a nation, as a culture, as a continent. And these are the things that we overlook when we are incorporating such things into our cultures. So for me, I have an issue with the way we handle our social media platforms and the addiction that we attach to them or that we derive from them.
Yes, Gladys.
Thank you very much. Although the volume has been so low today, I have struggled to listen in. Um, uh, what I would want to add on to what the last presenter was talking about, people meeting up and all they are doing is just socializing with their phones other than talking to the people that are present. Now, as somebody who deals with the youth and the children, like we say that charity begins at home, to change this culture, it has to begin with us, the old people, so that we put boundaries on where do we stop. If we've met at a dining table for dinner, it's time to fellowship. It's time to listen to each other, how our day was, what happened, what didn't go right. But it's not time to pull out our phones and talk. It also starts as a habit in children. When you have your meetings as an old person, you went with a child and then you give them a phone. It's common now for games, but that's how the habit begins. They will learn that for me to be diverted, for me to be busy, I can only kill my time on the social media, and they will not be able to learn, to play, to interact with fellow children. You can imagine, you can meet up and the meeting, yes, it is about old people, but they are children as well. But other children are out there playing, and others have been confined in the house. They've been given phones to play with. I've seen reactions sometimes when you get in and say, hey, please, you get out and play with others. Their mothers will say, oh, leave her. She has a game she loves playing and it is not going like at this time. Or she loves watching this. So it will have to start with us. Then to us, the parents and those that care about the children, we have to educate them that internet keeps information. So whatever information you post, whatever picture you put of yourself, it can be pulled down years down the road, it can be retrieved. These days, people are using those social media platforms and Facebook, wherever, during the interview, to look up to who are you? What do you usually post? What do you usually talk about? To find out who you are and what you usually do around yourself. So we need to tell these young people, mind about what you post. How would you want the world to know you? Because at the end of the day, when you're looking for the job, they will pull up your picture. You said, hey, you're the one who was dressed like this. And you will not be qualifying for the job. So we need to let them know that internet does not lose information. One time, one of the children in my family had posted things on Facebook, which were lies about where they live. They had put USA because they want to identify with higher caliber people. They had put USA, they had put very many lies. And when one of the parents visited their Facebook page, he realized the lies and grilled the child. The child said, Daddy, I didn't know that it is that much. He said, no, what you post, we'll keep on, we'll keep going. So we need to let these children know how bad internet can be. Even down the years down the road, the things you post can be pulled can be retrieved and they work against you.
Yeah, if I could inquire, young parents today, now the economy, you see where it's heading, getting a little bit tougher. People are getting busier. You see the willingness of people to take on more than one source of income. That is where we're heading. And again, parenting is another big project that it is definite that not everyone is going to be good at it. And the big tech companies will not spare you. TikTok is designed in a certain way that whoever goes there behaves in a certain way, which sometimes some things I look forward to being a parent. I don't know, I would likely not be so glad if maybe my children take up some certain habits. What would you tell a young parent? These new parents, I don't know, I'm sure you've met some of them. What do you normally share now with what you're seeing? And I think I would like to know.
Okay. The one important thing is to always tell a child, yes, like for example, I've given you this phone. This is its advantage. This is its disadvantage. And then create healthy boundaries with the children. Because I've seen the children who know, like they will tell you, this is not time for TV, it is time to play outside. Why? Because they have been told. When it is time for TV, they know how long they have to watch that TV. They know what time it is to go outside and have outdoor games. They know when it is time for homework. So it's about creating boundaries. It's about sensitizing the child. Even giving them information of what other things can come along with spending more time on TV. Your eyesight is going to go down. Your health is going to go down because you're not exercising. So the reason I tell you to go outside and play is so that you may have healthy bones and you may be physically healthy. So it's about educating them, because when you don't do that, you will lock up everything. You go to work, they steal. They go to the neighbors and watch. They will go to the neighbors and do what you don't want them to do in your house. So the best way is to sit down and communicate with them, and then let them be the ones to choose their own punishments. If I catch you doing this, what should I do for you? Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Right,
one
thank
time, yes?
Yeah, it's okay. Like one time, yeah, you can come.
Hey, or like one time I told the children, don't do to others what you didn't want them to do to you. So it's stuck in their heads. And anyone who did wrong, they would come and report. This one did what I don't want them to do to me. So give them a theme, create themes for a week and say, this week we are going to learn about appreciating each other. You're developing self-esteem among the kids. We are going to learn to appreciate each other. Whoever does something good, whoever cleans up, we are appreciating. So you can choose to develop themes around the behavior you want them to learn.
By the way, one thing I'd like to appreciate from this platform and sharing with you guys every day, one time developed some confidence, talk about very hard topics. And I've come to appreciate that it is not easy to talk about hard topics. I recently asked a parent, this is almost a mentor of mine, a gentleman, is in his late 40s. And I confronted him. I was like, how old is your daughter? He was like 8. The other one, he was like 6. Uh, have you talked to them about sex? No. Uh, were you given sex talk? He said, no. How do you plan to start? Or maybe, is your wife ready to do this? No. Are you ready to share about them? And it was around that time when the speaker had talked about homosexuality in the country, and many people were making comments about it. It had become a national conversation. So that's where the conversation had begun from. So I realized there's not much people are not really confident talk about hard topics. And now I hope our generation performs better in not being afraid to talk about sex. And Anthony, let's have you. Then we have Petronilla.
Hello, I hope you can hear me.
You are a bit low. Yes.
Okay, how about now?
It's better.
Okay, sorry, I'm at work, and so I'm going to only speak for only a few minutes. So that issue about internet and the impact it has on the Ugandan youth is simply because we Ugandans have a mentality of just taking up anything. We want to be famous, but we don't know the price these people pay for being famous. Because you have to understand the programming of kids starts at the age of 8. So if a kid does not socialize by the age of 6, that means they are going to be introverts or they are going to have poor socialization skills. So right now there's a trend whereby families give their kids phones. I know it's a security issue, but it doesn't mean you have to give a kid a phone that has internet. And even if you give a kid a phone, it means you can install applications that can limit what a kid gets access to. I don't know whether some of you have done that, but at the end of the day, we also need to acknowledge that internet has changed a lot about our lives, and we should appreciate it for where it is and where it has done, and we should try to mitigate the impact in the negative side that it has. So how do you do that? You do that by teaching kids to adapt a healthy living. How do you do that? Tell them what it means to be a good person. You're a good person by learning that you share. You're a good person by knowing that the way the previous speaker has spoken, that don't do what you don't want to someone else, what you don't want to be done to you. So all these things are qualities that will help them to live a fulfilled life. But the biggest thing that you need to teach kids is to have grit. And grit comes with responsibility. It means if you're telling your kid, if you want to be a doctor, how much do you want it? Understand? Because a doctor works maybe 80 hours a week, maybe studies a lot. So if you think that's what you want to grow up and be, then you don't have to be 10 hours on the phone. You don't have to be on TikTok. You understand? So me, generally, I would be okay to have some internet applications removed, banned and blocked from access in Uganda, especially like Facebook, Instagram. Because at the end of the day, they're stealing a lot of data from us. There's no data privacy. They are programming the kids to believe this woke mentality and all of that. And they are also preaching bad. I don't know how to say. They're also preaching bad habits among kids in how to react, tantrums. For us, we grew up with one thing: you don't deserve something unless you've earned it. So now these kids are entitled. They're getting you. You are entitled to these rights. You are entitled to freedom of sex, freedom of information, freedom of this. You understand? So everything to them, they feed it to them that it must be done for them. But these things normally come through this Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, all these, like, because you heard why TikTok wants to be banned from the US, because it steals data. And the TikTok in China is not the same TikTok in US. In US, it feeds them all this stupid stuff. In China, it feeds kids innovation stuff. So you can see how this is something we don't have control over. That's why you see countries like Russia, they do not have Facebook, they do not have Instagram, they have their own applications. There's what they call V-Contacted, which is like Facebook. It operates like that, but it only limits accesses, and it only gives access to information that they think is necessary for their people, not all this bullshit that that the Chinese are sending, like, I am LGBTQ. It becomes like a trend. Then everyone in the whole world admires. Gender dysphoria. Even a kid who doesn't know what it means is like, because of internet, and says maybe you can be born in a boy's body yet you are a girl. You understand? So these things, they all start by how internet affects our brains, because we are all have that element of being lonely creatures, and we are not designed to be alone. We somehow have that longing for friendship and all of that. So if we cannot get it, the easiest way of friendship is through a phone and internet. Then now, when you start going to these platforms, you get what they call ADHD. I don't know whether you know it. It means that these kids or anyone cannot concentrate on something for more than
Attention
2 minutes.
deficit hypersensitive disorder.
Yes. And all of this comes from internet, because look at the videos they give. TikTok, 3 minutes or 30 seconds. You understand? Everyone is scrolling. 30 seconds. If a video is not good, to the next one, to the next one. So that means it is affecting our brains in a way, because it captures attention. And now your attention span is only 30 seconds. If a video is not good in 30 seconds, you go to the next one. How about when you are interacting with people in life? So I think that there should be limitation on access and information. Actually, it's not that Facebook is informative. No, people are abusing each other on Facebook. 99%. Okay, we can give it 90% of Facebook users are just abusing people. You understand? Because they are jobless, they don't have what to do. And okay, let's not assume that they are jobless, but because there's no one who they can be able. There's no repercussion for everything they say on the internet, because they will come with a name. I don't know, like I can put a name that is not mine. So that means I can abuse anyone, and no one will know who I am. So I won't be responsible. You understand? For my mistakes and my offending remarks to other people. So also it increases sexualization of children. All girls now, most of them want to wear, like, have their boobies out, wear these skimpy things. Where do they start from? Instagram models, because they want the likes. They do these stupid dances that I don't even understand. Sometimes I really get confused. Then now imagine you are a man, you're going to get married to a girl, and all you see on her Instagram, it is all this bullshit nakedness. You as a man, what would you think? You understand? So all we have to understand is that we have to sit down and know that internet is good in access of information, but it has also that negative side. And that negative side, we can control it. How do we control it? All these applications that are doing that bullshit, we can limit access to the country. And that's the only way to save the kids. You understand? You cannot save the kids by stopping them from using phone or accessing internet, because 90% of education and all innovations come from reading through internet. So if you stop internet, then you are killing everything, information sharing. But if you get those applications that are targeted to kids and all of that, and block them off, maybe ICT should be able to do it. So, like, limit access of Facebook, ban it, limit access of Instagram, ban it, ban TikTok. And you see, now ask yourself, if a kid now in primary school is telling you, I want to be a blogger, because he sees that they're the blogger. A blogger, who is a blogger? What's the qualification of a blogger? You understand? What kind of professional skills do you need to be a blogger? It's not that I'm saying it's bad. It's not bad. But you cannot raise a kid from being a child to when they become responsible people, when they are aiming to be a blogger. Who is a blogger? You understand? So that is something that we need to understand, and we need to be able to, because if we allow these kids to access this, they are going to be like that. I want to be a blogger. I don't know. These guys who are always abusing each other, I don't know, on internet. So Isma, all these people. So is that the life that we as mature people want for our kids, to look up to these people? Like, I want to be a blogger.
I asked Warren earlier. I asked
Yes.
Warren earlier if he would be in support of dating apps, because in my mind, when I looked at our data, because the issue is my data being controlled by a culture that
No.
is disorganized. brother.
Let me tell you why I don't agree with dating apps. Long ago, the way we grew up, there was a chance of you meeting a partner genuinely. You understand? You meet a girl for the first time, you go on a date, you send messages, call each other, and meet again. You understand? Dating apps means I have access to a lot of options. You understand? So, and if you have access to a lot of options, it means it's even going to break the little of the family foundation that is in Uganda. So look, on a dating app, we have to know there are two people, a man and a woman. Men and women operate in different ways. Men they're not so stringent on what kind of lady they want. They know that if my lady has this body size, if my lady looks like this, if she's like this, that's all. So there might be a lot of ladies that fall in that category. So when there's a dating app, he's going to click on everyone, like, let's assume that the ladies respond and like him. The ladies, he's going to cheat with this one today, cheat with the other one tomorrow. So it becomes immoral. Dating apps have destroyed even the basic kindness of people choosing, the basic knowledge of people choosing partner, because it has made it easy. Men can access sex all the time. That means why should a man get married? Yet marriage, I have to pay dowry, I have to make you my responsibility, I have to look after you and your family. Yet I can get the same thing like sex from a dating app in just 1 minute. You understand? So there's no value. You find men will not value women and women will not value men, because if she's on a dating app, she will get a lot of attention, more than you think. That's why these ladies like Instagram, they like TikTok, they like dating apps, because they get a lot of attention from me. But a man, to be able to get attention from a lady globally, not only in Uganda, you need to have money. So if you don't have the money, for her, all she needs to be is cute. If you don't have the money, that means, yes.
I want to bring in Gladys a bit. I don't know if Petronilla put her hand down. Yes, Petronilla. Yes, Petronilla. Okay, it's Priscilla, I see you. So let's have Petronilla, then I come to you. Yes, hello, Petronilla, you can unmute.
I would like to react to Gladys's presentation. I think we need a topic on parenting, like teach people how to parent. We all cannot be good parents. We were not all of us were raised very well, that we know those examples of sitting on a dining table and communing with your family and all. So I think the organizers should put it in consideration to teach us parenting, because 21st century parenting, man, I've been in a house before and this child had brought in her friend to the house and she had stayed there for 2 weeks, and the parents did not know that the friend is around until they watched TikTok videos and these people are dancing together in the bedroom, and they're like, no, when did this one come to the house? The videos are so many in different clothes, the hairstyles have even changed, and they did not know that this stranger is in their house. Like, she used to take food to the bedroom, never told their parents that there's someone in the bedroom. And if it was a parent who interacted with their child on a daily, went to the bedroom that our parents used to do, see how dirty our bedrooms are and what, you wouldn't find a stranger in your house. There is a time I visited someone, they have 4 kids, but the kids greeted us and they all rushed to their bedrooms. Then I sat and waited for the parents to come. When the parents came, their mother was on the phone. No one has given me even a glass of water. Until the head of the house was like, hey, babahereza echo kunywashi. And then they had to tap on the woman. And I'm like, hey, if your mother can be like this, if a mother can be like this, like if a mother has that phantom vibration syndrome, like for more, you like fear of missing out, you want every update, you want every notification, you're always checking your phone to see if there is something new that has come in, how will your child not be the same or even worse? So I think we should have a topic just on parenting, because I don't think we can sensitize these kids with things we are not doing. Most of us are always on our phones. We don't even know our children's interests, what they watch. We are using the F word and the N word in front of our children, and you find a 4-year-old saying "fuck you," and you're like, huh? Where do they get this from? From the parents. So like we need a whole topic to discuss parenting next time. It's a suggestion. Thank you.
All right, thank you also, Petronilla. I would like to recognize the presence of our other panelist, Priscilla Twine. Thank you. You know, they say better late than never. So with me, I've had Humza B. John. I've also had Petronilla at they say breaking the wind on the talks. Then we have we have had a sharing. Maybe on the negative side, maybe we have touched a little bit on addiction, reduced productivity. So you've been listening into what would you have to say for us? And good afternoon to you.
Okay, good afternoon to you. Thanks so much. I'm sorry. It was really an emergency, and I had to rush. So it looks like you have almost exhausted everything. And my focus is that I would love to look at social media and mental health. My name is Atwine Priscilla. I'm a clinical psychologist working with TPO Uganda, based in Changwari refugee settlement, but right now I'm around Kampala. Thank you so much. So, you know, when we talk about social media, we mean all the group of internet-based applications and the ideologies and technologies that allow the creation and exchange of user-generated content. And currently, it's like one cannot live without social media. It's like without it, there is no life, there is no satisfaction. I have heard you say that you have talked about the negative. I would love to look at what is mental health. I have 4 definitions and they were ranked. I will start with the first one, which was ranked the higher rank. It is the capacity of each and all of us to feel, think, and act in ways that enhance our ability to enjoy life and deal with the challenges we face. Having that positive sense of emotional and spiritual well-being. I wouldn't like to say spiritual because not all of us are religious, but somehow we believe in the higher power. We believe in something that is extraordinary. And this mental health, it should respect the importance of culture, equity, social justice, interconnections, and personal dignity. So that's one of the mental health definition. And here you can see that the social media comes in to bring out, to respect interconnections, to respect social justice.
It's at Twine, Priscilla, your microphone, your audio is low. Yeah, your audio had broken.
Yeah.
I've lost Priscilla's audio. Is anybody able to confirm whether they are picking her voice? Okay, Priscilla, you can go on, but I'm having trouble picking you. Yeah, it's clearly a network issue. Gladys, your hand is up. Okay. Okay, she has rejoined the meeting. Let me. Okay, I like where she's taking the conversation, and it's mental health. For me, I cannot undermine the effects. Yeah, the effects that people, the peer pressure that comes with what these platforms have. For example, if I buy very new classy shoes today and I happen to post them, and I'm getting the likes, I'm getting the visibility, and I'm posting all that, and it is a filtered version of the lifestyle I'm having. Okay, like Petronilla said, filtered. Yeah, and you're consuming this on a daily, and 8 of your friends are doing that. Of course, man, it brings those kinds of feelings. It has those effects. So yes, Priscilla, you can go on. We had just lost you earlier, but now it's okay. Unmute.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I was talking about what mental health is and how is it connected to social media. And one of these, the definition, which says that it is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her potential and can cope with stress and can productively and fruitfully contribute to his or her community. So what does this social media do? To some extent, it has helped the youth to contribute to the community, and to another extent, it has really damaged the community. There is another definition that says that mental health community offers people the ability to thrive. It is one in which people feel a sense of connectedness, and they are also network which link people from
Okay, we are having a network issue. Warren, can I call you on? Your hand is up. And also, I would like maybe also before that to recognize Maureen Kaima, Deputy Dean, Barra University, and also practicing psychologist. Very glad to have you here today, ma. And yes, Warren, you can go on.
Yes, thank you so much again. It's unfortunate that our other panelists' audio is having issues. She was really presenting very important issues. I had wanted to ask the panelists because I was thinking more of I am the one that is really hell bent on saying that social media has really been detrimental to our livelihood socially in terms of what matters and what does not matter, and the effects, negative effects that it has had in comparison to the good side have been so have been weightier, for lack of a better word. But I'd like to ask Muhumza B. John and Petronella, respectively, is there nothing good we owe to social media? Is it all just bad? Is it all just is it all just should we look at it as an enemy, or it just needs proper regulation and proper education first before we can hand over the social media platforms to people that maybe are not as informed about it or do not have as good capability when it comes to self-restraint and regulating something? Because so far I think we've only had negative things. So I want to know, is there nothing good at all?
Actually, Petronilla mentioned how it as a tool is helping her business, but maybe in light of other facts that have come in. So the issue of regulation and how we can capitalize on using it productively, and not only just as spectators, but as result oriented. Two to the question, I would add number two to that question, and I say, are you comfortable with who owns our social media now? So John comes first, and then you can have Petronilla. I'm seeing Priscilla is now using another device, so I will call her on. Yeah? So John first.
Thank you very much, Eric, and thank you, Warren. Well, I'll start with Warren. Is social media bad? It is not bad at all. And like I said in my presentation, I think the biggest challenge that we are having with the social media here is regulation. And I will again emphasize that this regulation has to begin with the parents, because now they are coming up with excuses. They're so busy, but at the end of the day, you're the rightful owner of this child. So whatever they turn into, a parent will be to blame, regardless of how busy their schedules are, because family is supposed to be the very first priority. I know it is hard, but there's no excuse for not being in your children's lives. And two, I would believe, like I mentioned again, government would have also been in a better place to have regulation. If there are some social media companies which you feel are abusing the right of information that they're presenting, can they be banned? Can they be suspended so that they are not exploiting? What we are facing today is a case of exploitation, that these social media companies have all the time, all the rights to do whatever they desire, whether they are going to steal data, whether they're going to expose you to whatever information, regardless. So there is no one to control. So I do not want to say it's bad, because the very first intention why it was made is for it to ease some of these issues, communication, boosting confidence, things of the sort, yes. But when it comes to regulation, then it has become a total disaster. Then what is making it even a lot more complicated is we have just bumped into, would I say, internet? Yes, that you wake up one morning. You see, some countries have learned, or they have grown into this process, that parents actually understand what is happening and they're following trends. When it came to us, parents do not really know. We even have to teach them. They do not know some of this social media. They do not even know how it works. So it becomes a challenge. Now, social media in principle, it is a great thing. I use it every day and it is good. But if it is not regulated, it is a total disaster. Eric, about your question, would you please come again?
Okay, have you ever put some thought on what Russia has done? Anthony was telling us about Russia. China, your own Facebook, your own this. What thoughts have you had around our ownership? The ethical issues with these companies that are owning all rights to most of our data.
Okay, well, unfortunately, if I'm going to speak for my country, I believe we even have a lot more issues even before we got to internet. If we still have a poor education system, a poor health system, a poor transport and communication network system, now I do not feel that our government is even in the right position to be able to come up with some of these things. Because even the priorities may not be in our very best interests. Would it be the right thing? Do we get communication that some of those?
I'll call you on. Yeah, it's okay. Go on, John.
Yeah, I have heard of all these things happening elsewhere. Yes, I do, and I think the governments are doing what they are supposed to do to bring to put the population first. Has it all been great news? No, we also hear about limitation of information in some of those countries. I do not know if it is propaganda or they also have bias. It would be good for government to regulate because they are in a better position to handle this. But while we still have so many other problems, if the government really jumped into this one other thing and disregarded the others, I do not think we have the resources to be able to handle such a situation. Thank you so much.
Okay, now, Anthony, you're going to forgive me a bit. Take note of that. I need to call Priscilla back on again. Then you are the first person I call on as we conclude. So Priscilla, we can try again. Yes.
I'm really sorry. Now I don't even know what you have talked about and what should I focus on.
No, it's
what
okay.
to think?
Yeah. It's okay. You can pick up. Yeah, you can pick up from where
she was
you were.
talking about. Let me tell her. She was talking about how kids get detached from reality of the world because of using social media. That's where, and actually, I liked that. I am attentive on that, and I want to hear you finish that point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, I was saying that I was looking at how mental health, how social media influences mental health, and how social media helps the people, youth, to connect with the community and to contribute. But we find that this social media has led people to be alone, to disconnect themselves from others, to like the Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, now they have become the friends, in quotes. They have become the advisors, the mentors. And this leads to mental illness. Because research says that, even though I've not put it down, it shows that the more you check on your phone or screen on social media, the more the dopamine is released and you're being rewarded. So you will keep on wanting to go back and check. You don't want to miss out what is going on. You don't want to be out of press. That is another challenge also that people have, because so and so has a smartphone, is on TikTok. I also have to be like him or her, because I post it on the status or Instagram, so I have also to do that. And I heard one of you talked about parenting. It all starts with parents. It all starts with parents. Parents are not doing their work, are not doing their. And Petronila asked that we need to talk about parenting. Yes, we need to talk about it. But do you know what? We can take it upon ourselves to start spreading the gospel in quotes. Increase.
All right, Priscilla, You're having a disturbance in your network again. There was,
Is the rate of depression. Difficult.
yes, doctor, I lost you on
Oh,
the
you're not
point when you
hearing me?
said
Well,
we need to be, no, just for where you mentioned that we need to take it upon ourselves to, to spread the gospel. But then how shall we spread the
yes,
gospel we don't understand? Most of us
yes,
don't even have, it's not like there's a school of parenting around. So how are we going to spread the gospel
yeah.
we don't understand so well?
But
Mm.
I'm sure the people here who are listening and the people who are part of Keza psychology and others may be clinical psychologists, they have a lot to offer. They know, they have the knowledge. But the problem is that I don't care. I know, but it is the right. Now, he has disconnected himself from looking for remember. How can we reach out to parents? How can we reach out to teachers? How can we reach out to caretakers? But remember, even these caretakers and parents, themselves are sick. It's hard to say. And how can we involve in education, in business, people get mental state? Do we care about someone's physical state? Do we care about someone's psychology? The answer no, this is not right. I happen to carried out research, and they said that 4.3 generations had social media account. So that is too much. There is a way we are damaging our brain, the hormones, and how do we go about it? We need to reach out to people, but it starts with us. I'm very sure that us who are here listening, I don't know how many we are, but I'm very sure that some of us are finding it hard to manage social media. They find it, you find status, you have no, you cannot command, you cannot tell your youth that you know what, you shouldn't be doing this. At least parent, you have failed, then that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is. And
so, doctor, hello, Miss Priscilla. Hello, Miss Priscilla. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to try and yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to try and conclude in the interest of time. I'm seeing we are time bad, so I'm giving you 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Hello, it seems, are you still there? Yes, I see your hand is raised and you're unmuted, so you can still go on. So just 2 to 3 minutes to conclude. Yeah, now I can get you. I can pick you now.
Yeah. And then when we look at that, we see how do we reach out to people? And not everyone comes here on this dialogue. How can we reach out people? How do we sensitize the youth? But when we sensitize the youth without helping the parents, then it will be wasting time. So my last remark is that, Keza, you're doing great, but we still have a lot to do. Some people have lost it all because of social media. Others have gained, but a big percentage has really lost life. It may be psychological, it may be financial, it may be social relationships. So my recommendation is that let it start with us. Then let's reach out to parents, to teachers, to people, significant figures, significant people. And then we take upon it ourselves to sensitize people. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Hello?
thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to allow Anthony. Anthony, I'm going to give you a minute. And then I'm going to give you a minute because my panelists have to also give their conclusive remarks from John and Petronila. Okay, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
1.5. 1.5 is a bargain.
Okay, don't disturb me.
Then I have to also react to these challenges Priscilla has really raised for us. Yeah. Okay, you can go on, Anthony.
I am going to say this about what Priscilla has said, that let it start with us. No, we are not going to do that. What we are going to do is tell people to be responsible, and if you're a responsible person, help where you care about the people around you. So if you care about the people around you, you start with yourself. Discipline yourself on how you use the internet, see how it affects you, and show your friend that this is the problem. But if you be like we are going to do, it starts with you, those are seen as strengths. You have to be able to change our world now. You have to take action. And about someone said that government can't do anything. No, there are many governments that have limited access of social media, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. Go to Djibouti, go to Eritrea, go to Rwanda. They have done it. It's not expensive. It's just ICT department it's the only which we have a whole ministry of ICT which can control all these bad social medias. You cannot ban internet. I already told you 90% of good innovations and education systems operate on internet. You cannot disband internet because even now we are talking over internet. You cannot disband internet over social media misuse. So the only thing you have to do, ban social media. That I agree with, because all this shit has not helped us to do anything. Then how do you protect the kids? The only way you protect the kids as a parent, you teach them how to socialize without needing a phone. It means that you tell them, if you're going, today is a Saturday, you're going to play, leave your phones here, go play with your friends. You understand? So you limit access. That every parent can do that. It's not that you need police to take away a phone from a child. I have my nieces, me and the mom, I think Priscilla, you know her, Rehema Kazungu. And we talked about this about the daughters. And it is simple. Take the phone away. If they are to read, let them read. If they are to sleep, let them sleep. Just teach them how to live with the phone. Otherwise, if you don't teach them how to live with the phone, they're going to grow up, get the phone, and abuse the phone. So teach how do you teach someone for becoming for becoming reliant and a fully grown person? You teach them how to go in dangerous places and come out safely. You don't teach them not to go to dangerous places. You don't teach kids. That's not how you protect people. You don't teach kids not to go to bars. No, you go with them to bars and tell them you don't do this in a bar. You drink one beer, you go home.
So you
Don't
would
be a
offer your
misuse.
child
Yes,
their first beer.
I would offer my child the phone, but I would strictly monitor the phone and limit the time on the phone, because I would also push other things like socialization skills, to go out, meet people, because that's where self-confidence starts from. You understand? That's where self-esteem starts from. Meeting
How
people,
would
interacting
how
with
would you
people.
react
Yeah.
if how would you react to find out your 13 daughter has a boyfriend and maybe you're monitoring their phone and these people already kissing? How would you
If
intervene
that's
there?
that's exactly it. That's what I'm looking for on the phone. I can't allow that to happen. You understand? If you have a phone, yes, you have it, but your phone is not there to go and hunt boys and go here. Understand? Your phone is to help you. If maybe there's an emergency, you call me. I come pick you up. Maybe you want to have some time and maybe go. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
purpose of the
All right.
phone.
Thank you.
You don't.
Thank you,
Yes.
Anthony. Thank you very much, Anthony. And now uh let's see, John, you can have your conclusive remarks, maybe 1.5 minutes to two. Then Petronilla, we can also have you, and then we can close the evening.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric, and thank you all for listening in. Well, again, in conclusion, I am not going to say that I am someone who's totally against social
Your audio
media.
is a little bit low, John.
You can get me clearly now.
Yeah, better.
Okay. I was saying that again, I am not going to say that I am someone who's totally against social media, because that would not be fair. However, my biggest issue is that there is no regulation of social media, both from the parents and the government. And my emphasis again still lies on the parents taking that responsibility over their children. I believe this should be the very first line of defense. There should be an introduction of kids to use of devices, to access on internet, um, free interaction between parents and their children, so that there is easy communication and proper feedback. I also feel they should be able to be examples. If the parents can limit phone usage, then they are entitled to send the same message to their children. Nonetheless, I believe this is a very broad topic that we cannot discuss in the 2 hours that we have had. Perhaps we would have gone into detail and discussed more. I'm in support of someone who suggested that there should be a debate on parenting. Yeah, I feel that is a role that is something we need to talk about, because it's a role that has been ignored by parents, all in the name of work and school, and then they tend to think being a parent is just bringing someone into this world and then let everything else take care of itself. Thank you so much all for the opportunity, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, John. Petronilla. So Petronilla, please
Thank you
unmute.
so much, Mr. Katunji.
Yeah.
I earlier on wanted to comment or reply to Miss Priscilla, but I think she has left. I think this is also a social
She's
media.
still on with another device. She's still on.
Oh, I think this is also a good start to sensitize parents, because I know most of these conversations are recorded, because I usually find some of them on YouTube from Humura. So, and they even share them on WhatsApp groups. So people have access to these things. And if it interests someone, they'll also give it to someone else. So this is a good start. And Humura and Keza, thank you very much. You're doing well. Then about that question of contentment, about ownership of the social media platforms, I've had a question for Mr. Agaba Sachs, but I think he has also left. I don't know. I really wanted to know whether the government cannot have a technical team that can control our own social media in Uganda, like how they managed to ban Facebook and you have to bypass using VPN. There's a way people on TikTok, they know, like on TikTok, you're blocked if you use hate speech and vulgar and all sorts of things, and people bypass it by speaking Luganda. So I was wondering, isn't there a team that understands Luganda that can still go ahead and ban these people who are training our kids on how to abuse people, on how to speak all those vulgar words in Luganda and all? So me, I'm not contented with the ownership. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the parenting topic. Till then, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you also, Priscilla. I'm going to react. Maureen Kaima, could you give your conclusive opinion on what we have talked about? Yes, hello, Maureen. I don't know. Maybe she's far from her device. So maybe if when you're ready, you come in. What I can say is that what a challenge that has been posed today. And Petronilla, I would like to say you're one of the few who have managed to productively use these platforms. Not everybody has the ability to monetize the time that they give to social media. And that is why we get now more negative challenges than this big promise that technology comes with to actually change lives. So I'd like to thank you for what you've said. And John, well, we continue to remain a challenge, and the incapability of our system does not stop our conversation. And what I've always okay, I also acknowledge and I know these challenges. We have talked about these issues. I know about this, but what I can say is we have to make these conversations because we have so many useless conversations, and especially when it is all about people's lives instead of how we grow, because each person obviously accords time on how they are going to look after themselves. It is responsible of us that when we are doing now interaction as a community and we have technologies that are helping us in this way, becomes an opportunity to to talk about, to address issues that affect more than one individual, to things that the problems that we cannot challenge by ourselves. Yeah, I don't have the knowledge to build a bridge, but maybe I need to cross to Ginger and I need somebody to know how to build that bridge. And maybe that's just an example. And I think let's just continue to have these conversations across areas in which we are falling back. Actually, for me, I find it hard to have respect for some people in high responsible positions because we are ranked so low. We are ranked so low. If it is a position, even in East Africa, we are at the bottom. Even in Africa, we are at the bottom. In the world, we are at the bottom. So we have to just have these conversations and now create a mindset that we are able to innovate past some of these. And I look at these as business opportunities. When I hear that Russia has its own social media platform, I'm praying that somebody here, a coder, a programmer, we had a female programmer here last time, should sit down and create a social media network that gives a balance and has an algorithm that, you know, is suitable to create not these things that could give us this obsessive behavior about other people's lives, but is designed on how to improve our own and is realistic to our own accountability and to have the right measures by which we validate ourselves in society. Today, however, I somehow that therefore on a personal opinion, I agree with Anthony that let them ban these platforms. Sometimes, even for the purposes of this show, I wish Facebook was active. I wish Facebook was active. But when I look at the problem beyond what I'm chasing, is constantly having these foreign companies controlling our data and having the ability to engineer our behavior is something that I totally do not agree with. So, and that gives an opportunity that maybe my younger brother or somebody random within this country, within East Africa, within Uganda, will innovate something that is more, that aligns for the good of what our culture stands for and how we hope to build the future that we envision. I'm totally challenged by what Priscilla said. How do we reach out to parents? Yes, at times we mobilize our efforts, but when how do we reach out to parents? Some of these technologies are the ones we are supposed to be using heavily, maybe with video content, more attractive content, to demonstrate the urgency in knowing some of these issues that we have talked about. How do we involve government? Personally, as Keza, we worked we recently published an advocacy paper on ensuring that there is free psychosocial support benefit. In our best of wish, we would hope that maybe there is easy access now with technologies. Even people with in rural areas can be able to access psychosocial support. But such efforts are not loud enough as compared to the challenges that we are facing.
Eric,
Yes, Anthony?
one suggestion, only one.
Yes.
What I want to say to you on how to interact with government or with the parents, make sound an alarm. What we should do now is sounding an alarm and telling people that here is a problem that we are not seeing. You understand? We are crying that our kids are becoming in the LGBTQ plus, but yet we are not monitoring what they are doing on phones. How do they start? So you sound to government, you sound to everyone, just sound an alarm, not go to approach that we want to do social. No, tell them we have a problem. It's going to kill our kids, it's going to kill these things. You understand? Make it clear. You understand? Studies are there. Priscilla should be known because she's a clinical psychiatrist. Studies are there that are showing these things are affecting mental health. It is because normally, like what they said about the dopamine, everyone has both negative emotions and positive emotions. So what internet does, the dopamine, it stimulates positive emotion. But then if you don't have the phone, now that means you are prone to negative emotion. That's when depression comes in.
All right,
Understand?
thank you.
So,
all right,
yes, just sound an alarm.
So sometimes we have different voices, and at the beginning you really want to use a voice of peace. You really want to use a voice of peace, and so that when there is no response, you can use a little bit of a voice of emphasis. Yeah. So maybe I would like to gradually, because these people are very intellectual. However much they fall short in some of their their performance indicators, but they are very intellectual. So at times we use a voice of peace, then a little bit you change technique because these are things that help us all. So these are one of the tools, trying this and that here. Maybe this is a campaign, because at the end of the day, if we do not, if we are not comfortable, if our minds are not tuned to the tasks that our society is facing, that's an issue, and that is why we use this platform in mental health to talk about matters even in economics. yeah, because people's lives are at stake because the finances are not well. Maybe a body workout is not well. Yeah, their personal lives are not okay. So, and also we are challenged by Priscilla, sensitize the youth without helping the parents is useless. I'm going to even put a little bit more thought on this. But I would love to thank each and every one of you. It is 4:15. I would like to apologize. Maybe it was because we lost audio and we really, for me personally, I really couldn't live without listening to Priscilla. And I'd like to thank all of you for attending, for being patient. We're here at Keza Psychology Center. We are every Friday 2 p.m. We try our best to popularize on platforms that we have access to. That is our social media platforms. We have a WhatsApp group that we constantly promote here. There are some of these contacts that I had previously displayed, where we can reach us, where we can keep in touch. Visit Humula Therapy. And we have a very good network. We have Maureen Kaima there. We have Beatrice Birunji, our ever-growing network. Gladys Ananula, even for people you cannot access on the platform. We hope if there's somebody in your family, in your friends network that has an urgent issue, they need attention more than this dialogue, we do have the access to link you up to a counselor. We have a very good portfolio of counselors, and it's all up to you. So please always tune in. Let us know where we can always improve. Today, I've really appreciated the challenges that most of our panelists have posed for us. And I'll be excited to see you until next time. So otherwise, we are officially closed here. And I'd like to say good evening and have a nice weekend. See you next Friday, 2 p.m.